Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And we'll share the screen here. Share February 18th in Asia. See what we have today. First topic, continuing 4 padas of Saiva Siddhanta. Charya, conduct. Kriya, worship. Yoga, meditation. And jnana, enlightenment. And today we're focusing on the second pada, Kriya Pada. As I mentioned previously, this is an updated version for the Natal Tamil Vedic Society in Durban, South Africa, for their magazine. So it's a little shorter and, I'd say, crisper. Doesn't ramble as much. Where are the practices of Kriya to be performed? Very practical question. Practices of Charya were to be done at the temple. Where are the practices of Kriya to be performed? Answer, in the home shrine. So this is a strong theme, particularly in living with Shiva, that we have a shrine room in the home and we do puja in the shrine, which is something that many modern Hindu teachers don't teach. So Kriya is done in the home shrine. First stage is Charya and Kriya. What are the practices of Charya and Kriya? So very similar to Charya and Charya. Charya and Kriya consists of cleaning the shrine room and collecting all the necessary substances and implements needed for the daily worship of the Shiva Linga. What are the practices of Kriya and Kriya? That one is simple. Kriya and Kriya consists in performing Atmarta Puja to Shiva. The form of Shiva Lingam is prescribed in the Agamas with the preliminary 5 purifications after having received initiation into that worship. So that's the traditional definition. It has initiation mentioned. What are the practices of yoga in Kriya? That one's easy. Yoga and Kriya consists of meditation after the Atmarta Puja and the practices of jnana and Kriya. Jnana and Kriya is the experiential knowledge gained by these practices, called in Tamil Anubhava Unarchi. Kriya Pada is also called the Satputra Marga, meaning true son's way, for here the soul relates to God as a son to his parents. So we're getting closer. Bhattavi, attainment of this pada is samipya, nearness to God. Tiruyana Sambandar Nayanar is the Samya Acharya who exemplified the Kriya Pada. Focus of the Kriya Pada is the deepening of our love of God Shiva. This idea is captured in Tirumandaram, verse 1456. Being wholly under the possession of love, I would stand before the Lord with a melting heart. Every day I would offer the services needed for the Lord and the devotees. Standing before the lotus feet of the Lord, whose form appears to have been made of pure and high-quality gold, I would supplicate, kindly bestow your grace on me. At this stage, Shiva entered my body, filling it up with light up to the pores of my bones. It's a beautiful verse. Gurudeva is more precise, less poetic. Explanation of Kriya also gives prominence to deepening our devotion to God Shiva. Hinduism demands deep devotion through bhakti yoga in the Kriya Pada, softening the intellect and unfolding love. Kriya, the second stage of religiousness, our sadhana, which was mostly external in Charya, is now also internal. Kriya, literally action or rite, is a stirring of the soul in awareness of the divine, overcoming the obstinacy of the instinctive intellectual mind. We perform ritual and puja not because we have to, but because we want to. We're drawn to the temple to satisfy our longing. We sing joyfully. For the practice of Kriya Pada to take place, it is necessary to establish a shrine in the home. Wherever possible, it should be a separate room, not in a cabinet or on a shelf. At a minimum, it should be a quiet corner of the home. All the actions of keeping the shrine room clean and preparing the altar for the puja constitute Charya and Kriya. Core practice of Kriya and Kriya is for a family member, generally the father, to perform a daily puja in the home. In a sense, he becomes the family priest, emulating the temple priests while following a simpler, non-public liturgy known as Atmarta Puja. Over time, the spiritual vibration generated through daily puja and other practices permeates the entire home, gradually transforming it from the family's home into God Shiva's home. A broader set of practices for the Kriya Pada is given in Tirumandaram, verse 1496. Performing the worship, systematic study of the scriptures, praising the Lord, repeating the mantras, observing pure and good austerities, being truthful, free from impurities, preparing the rice offering. These and the purification of oneself are the disciplines of faultless Satputra Marga. Slow slide. Gurudeva gives a similar list. We absorb and intuit the wisdom of the Vedas and Agamas. We perform pilgrimage and fulfill the sacraments. We practice diligently the 10 classical observances called niyamas. So this is one of Gurudeva's insights into Nalupada Saiva, the 4 padas, is the yamas, the restraints, fit into the Charya Pada, and the niyamas, the observances, fit into the Kriya Pada. So they fit quite nicely. They are remorse, contentment, giving, faith, worship of the Lord, scriptural listening, cognition, sacred vows, recitation, austerity. So worship of the Lord is Isvara Pujana, doing the puja. The yoga stage of Kriya brings meditation into the home shrine, awakening insights and unfolding intuitive knowing. The devotee can keep his meditative focus even in the family home. The jnana stage of Kriya is parallel, bringing superconscious awakenings that flow from the power of such daily practice. The soul grows more mature with each pada. Gurudeva taught that in the Kriya Pada, the devotee develops a deeper and deeper love of God to the point that he may cry with joy during the worship. When that love is steady every day, when he is ready to give up his personal will to God's universal will, then he has reached the highest level of Kriya. So when the love is steady every day, plus surrender. So that's the height of Kriya. In the Kriya Pada, what constitutes darshan of the deity? For those in Kriya, darshan is not just seeing the physical murti in the temple, as it was in Charya. It is feeling the divine presence, sanidhya, the sacred energy emanating from the murti. In moments of higher consciousness, devotees may even have a vision of the deity, such as the subtle form of the murti moving and smiling at them, turning into an animated human-like figure, or with eyes closed, inwardly seeing the deity's face as real as any living being. So that tended to happen more than you would expect on our inner search program somehow. I don't know why, but wonderful aspect of inner search was many of the pilgrims had such experiences. But the basic one is feeling the divine presence, sanidhya, sacred energy emanating from the murti. So that's the basic darshan in the Kriya Pada. Basic darshan in the Charya Pada is just seeing the physical murti. The Kriya Pada, it's more subtle. We're feeling the energy that's emanating from physical murti. And let's see what our second topic is. We have our 9 key spiritual qualities in children, and we are up to the 5th quality, playful self-contentment. So that's important in today's world, particularly in Asia, where these life-changing exams start at a terribly young age. So much necessary focus on academics, sometimes the playfulness of life isn't as much as it should be. So we need some playfulness at all ages in appropriate forms. Playful self-contentment is expressed when a child's usual mood is fun-loving, happy, and satisfied. How is playful self-contentment cultivated? What do you think? It is through the parents living and verbalizing the philosophy that life is meant to be lived joyously. It is by holding the perspective that happiness does not depend on external circumstances, but is a consciousness we can claim, whether life is free of or filled with challenges. Happiness is still inside us. It's by teaching the children to be satisfied with what they have in the present, rather than dissatisfied about what they don't have. It is nurtured by the family spending time together with play and laughter. So that's the idea of Gurudeva's family home evening, which is important, particularly when you have younger children. Monday is family home evening and you have fun together. No problems discussed. The ability to remain joyful, secure, and content enables one to face with equanimity the ups and downs of life. Gurudeva described the contentment, santosha, that we should teach children. True santosha is seeing all pervasiveness of the one divine power everywhere. The light within the eyes of each person is that divine power. With this in mind, you can go anywhere and do anything. Contentment is there inside you and needs to be brought out. It is a spiritual power. So yes, do what makes you content, but know that contentment really transcends worrying about the challenges that face you. Santosha is being peaceful in any situation. The stronger you are in Santosha, the greater the challenges you can face. So Santosha is one of the niyamas. It relates to the Kriya Pada, our previous topic. Third topic, see what we have here. Questions sent to satsang@hindu.org. Okay, we got some great questions coming in. How do the 3 force centers of the solar plexus, the lotus of the heart, and the cranial realms relate and interact? Challenging question. Oh, Gurudeva gives an answer that's helpful. In any one lifetime, man may be predominantly aware in 2 or 3 centers, thus setting the pattern for the way he thinks and lives. In other words, there is not one way that the chakras interrelate. It varies significantly from individual to individual. However, it is clear from what Gurudeva said that an individual tends to stay in the same 2 or 3 chakras. If doing sadhana, then he or she can move up a bit. So sadhana helps us move up a bit, but it doesn't totally put us at the top. So we're moving up, always functioning in 2 or 3 chakras that are adjacent to one another. If I paint my room walls gray, is that like walking around with a gray aura? Well, we'll start merging with Shiva as the start. Indicates gray relates to fear, depression, and lack of courage. Well, I want to be there. If an individual tended to be in those states of consciousness, then spending time in a room with a wall painted gray would tend to increase those moods, because he's already in that state of mind, so it's going to be influential. However, if someone was in a totally different state of mind, very upbeat, say intellectually active, then the gray wouldn't affect them at all. So it depends on the person's normal state of mind if a gray room is going to put them into, it's not going to put you into a totally different state of mind. It's going to increase it if you're already there or tending to be there some of the time. And our fourth and last topic, to hear from Yoga Swami. Those who remain summa are the real benefactors of humanity. Oh, what does that mean to you? A person who remains summa means be still, is in a peaceful state of consciousness. That person unspokenly is encouraging others to also be summa and peaceful. In other words, you can make the world a more peaceful place by being peaceful yourself. Thank you very much. Om. Om.